Hello, everyone. I'm Deborah Terry Stevens, and I am delighted to be here with my sister friend, the one, the only Miss Mercedes L. Miller. How are you doing, my girl? How are you?
It's been a good day. How are you?
I'm yet holding on, sister. I am yet holding on. But it is a good day. It's a good day. Listen, I always look forward to having conversations with you because I just love bouncing things off of you, and your input is just phenomenal. Your insight is just all that. So let me get to the point. So we've just had Valentine's Day weekend, and over the weekend, we also learned that President Trump was acquitted of the second impending impeachment. And I think people are thinking that the Proud Boys are gaining momentum. They feel empowered and emboldened to do some of the things that they have done, and maybe even planning other things, and wondering what does that look and feel like for the rest of us, and especially minorities or underrepresented groups. Flashbacks of days gone by. You have elderly people, they're thinking about the civil rights movement, Jim Crow, all that sort of thing that's going on. Speak to me or us about mindset management, mindset techniques, things that we can talk about and better our situation so that we don't stay stuck in what it appears to be, if that makes sense.
Right. So I think you said a key thing in staying stuck in what it appears to be. And we both know that people's perception is their reality. And the truth is, in the church house, you often say, don't matter what's going on in the world, whose report will you believe? Matters not what's going on in the economy, God is still a provider. And the truth is, if you stand firm in that, in your thoughts, in your words, and in your faith, then you're creating an environment that when you step over the threshold from your home to the marketplace, to the workplace, or to the church house, that you have created an environment that allows you to better exist based on your own terms. So oftentimes what I share with people is that you are either renewing your mind or you are transforming your mind. And regardless of what everybody else is doing and what is going on, you can allow what you see to affirm what you think and believe and have experienced. Or you can allow what you see to be what you deal with in the here and now, but you have the choice to make a pivot and entertain, have conversations about, or focus on something else. So it is true that and it was not that long ago, right? So it was my mama and my daddy who actually experienced, you can't sit over there, you can't drink out of there. So it's not been that long ago, it's not that many generations past. So yes, they still remember what was. There are some of us in this time and space dispensation who have experienced the same. The biggest thing that we have to do is realize that regardless of who is in leadership, we still have the ability to make choices about how we react and how we respond. Regardless of what happens when we go into the store, we have a choice about how we react and how we respond. And many times we fail to understand that it matters not what they are doing. It is how we respond, the seeds that we sow when we are thinking thoughts about what has happened, when we're having conversations either with ourselves or with other people about what has happened, and or the actions that we take. So I believe that as it relates to anything that has to do with the color of your skin. My grandmother on my father's side used to say the color of your skin has nothing to do with an almighty God, which means it doesn't matter what they're doing. You have a choice about what you do. Even when you believe you've been done wrong, even when you believe you deserve better, even when it feels like the chips are stacked against you, you can either take what you see and what you hear and allow that to renew the negative, or you can deal with what is right here, right now, and then shift your focus to make sure that what you are consuming and thus what you are expending is in alignment with what you desire to experience.
I love it. I love it. I think, you know, since I've been I won't say a fan, but a supporter of yours for a while, and you are often encouraging and provoking many of us to write things out, to manifest. You know,
Right.
the word tells us to write the vision, make it plain. Um, and I think that if we start to write things out, that helps. I mean, even in psychology, what we call cognitive behavioral therapy, just changing your mindset as far as what the reality is and what you want it to be and your response to whatever it is, just as you so beautifully stated. And then, but I think in order to do that, we're going to have to write the vision and make it plain. What is it that you want? And it's something about putting pen to paper that makes you really stop and think about it, because you're writing this down now. It's going to be inked out for like eternity. And so it just makes you really consolidate and encapsulate those thoughts so you can zero in on what the vision is. And where there is no vision, the people perish.
Right. And
And
that
people perish for lack of knowledge. So,
right. And that whole writing thing, it helps to reinforce whether,
absolutely.
yeah, whether you write it or whether you speak it or whether you're just simply allowing it to run around over and over in your mind. What you put in is what ends up coming out. And so, what many people don't realize is when you're entertaining the thoughts of fight and anguish, when you're entertaining the thoughts of what you don't like and what they need to do differently and what's unjust, what's inequitable, and what's not a part of equality, then that is what's going to continue to come out. I often say that manifesting is about creating an environment of love and peace and joy so that what you want flows to you and through you more easily. But manifesting also is about when you deal with those tumultuous situations, how do you respond? If you are constantly cultivating, now here's what, it does not mean that you will never get mad, right? It does not mean you will never get upset. We're human beings. But what it does mean is that you are conscious enough in your response that you can be clear thinking so that you do what keeps you alive, you do what keeps you out of jail, right? Keeping your freedom, you do what allows you to keep your reputation, from the smallest of things to the most magnificent of things. So I take great pride and I take great joy in the fact I consider myself to be a pretty peaceful person. I have been for a long time. Now, don't get it twisted. I do have a situation that happened that I'm not ashamed of, but the world don't necessarily need to know, although I would tell you. But the world don't need to know because someone intentionally used manifesting, which you know is my heart and my life's work, to try to turn something on me when they were not telling the truth, right? So I went to level 10 real quick and I was all right with it. I'm still all right with it to this day. However, That's not my typical response.
Yeah.
For example, in I think it was November or December, I get up over in the night to use the bathroom and I hear like water gushing, like just running, running, running. And I was like, now, Lord, I know on these prayers of provision and prosperity, we've been like decreeing and declaring the windows of heaven are open and we're receiving, but I hear some water running. This ain't quite what we was talking about. So I make my way into the kitchen and there's a pipe under the sink that is just like, I don't know how long it's been running. It's been running so long, the entire kitchen is full of water. Not only is the kitchen full of water, the water has gone down into the vents and like into my HVAC system.
Oh my God.
I could have cussed because it was worthy of a good cussing, First Lady, co-pastor, right? it was worthy of a good cussing. Listen, I went back into my room, got my rain boots, used the bathroom, washed my hands, went back in the kitchen, turned the water off and cleaned up. Why? Because what else you gonna do? Somebody said, well, did you call your daddy? Did you call your sister? Did you call your dude? What they gonna do? Why I'ma call and wake them up? Clean the stuff up, take a shower, go back to bed. I'll deal with it in the morning. How you respond is based on, have you cultivated the mindset? Well, wait, there's more. So my septic tank needs to be pumped out. So the people come to pump the septic tank and they bust my water line. So literally, like the backyard got water. So the man knocks on the sun porch and said, can you come here? And I said, yes. And he said, I got some bad news. I said, well, what is it? He said, well, I busted your water line. I said, well, is somebody gonna fix it? He said, yeah, the plumber's on the way. I said, well, let me know when he's done. I come back in the house and I continue working. There's no need to go to level 10. We go to level 10 because somebody driving 5 miles below the speed limit. We go to level 10 because as soon as the light turns green, if their foot does not come off of that brake and those brake lights go off, right, we honking on. We go to level 10, but all of that is about mindset. All of that is about, are you creating an environment of peace that allows you to know that some of this stuff just ain't that serious? Some of the stuff that we're going to level 10 for, it's causing us more mental and emotional pain and anguish than is necessary. So then you can say, but Mercedes, what happened on the Capitol, that is worthy of level 10, right? What happened that our parents and our grandparents and our great-great-grandparents and beyond dealt with, that is worthy of going to level 10. But the question becomes, is going to level 10 really gonna solve anything? Is being outside of our own mind control really going to create any results that we desire? And by and large, it's not. So what we have to do, even when they're wrong, even when we know that there should have been and there could have been a different result, what we have to do is position ourselves mentally and emotionally so that we can respond in a manner, do what's necessary right here and right now, and then get back to the business of our lives.
And oh my God, that is so powerful. I was talking with my mother-in-law in Detroit, and when I tell you, she is a phenomenal woman, absolutely phenomenal. And she had to have back surgery. And now this is an extremely strong woman, strong in faith,
Mm-hmm.
word, and worked many years as a nurse. And just her back situation, just it really took its toll on her. So she had to have a major back surgery, and it was a miraculous outcome. I mean, what the doctors were so amazed, but we weren't, because we prayed, we manifested, we spoke it, we even ordered the hands of the surgeon and everything. I say all of that to say, my most recent conversation with her, as she's recovering and doing nicely, I mean, very well. She said, baby, I'm not going to let anything or anyone disturb my peace. And that is so key. I mean, that's exactly what you're saying. Don't let anything or anyone disturb your peace. Yes, situations happen, but it is our response to the situation. Greater is He that is in us
Yes.
than anything that is in the world. So, regardless of what is going on out there, and there's some stuff going on out there, we have to stay with the peace and speak it, control it, be in control, and just call it forth. As you often
Yes.
say, call it forth. I mean,
Yes.
work. We have situations in the workplace where we are not on the receiving end of equitable promotions and raises and things like that. So, I mean, right? We have to do the same thing in the workplace, right?
Same thing in the workplace. And it does not mean that you sit down and take something that you're not supposed to take. It does not mean that you become a doormat, that you let people walk all over you, or that you allow people to disrespect you. What it does mean is that you make a conscious decision to have a conversation about what you would like to see different. And if the conversation doesn't yield the results that you want, then you make a conscious decision to determine what are your next steps to either get a remedy or to get yourself to a place of peace. I am often concerned, Deborah, about people who they fight for a living, right? Freedom fighters, they fight for a living. People in civil rights movement, even now they call it, then it was civil rights, now it's social justice, the same, different, however you review it. You fighting, you wake up in the morning fighting, you go to bed fighting. Everything is just a fight. And the truth is, if you're always fighting, at some point, somebody loses the battle, right? At some point, and losing the battle may not be the issue that you're focused on. It may be your emotional well-being. It may be your physical body. It may be the relationships that you have at home or in other parts of the community and the workplace. And so what's key, back to mindset management and emotional control, what's key is, if you fight for a living, does the fight always have to be you putting up your dukes? Because oftentimes, if you fight for a living, then many times you're looking for a fight when a fight ain't necessary. We can just have a darn conversation, okay? Sometimes you are putting forth demands when there's no need for demands. We can have an exchange and come to a mutual agreement. But what's key is, when people are fighting all of the time, they don't have the ability to separate and compartmentalize. Very few people do have the ability to compartmentalize, but separate and compartmentalize so that they can get back to a place of peace and joy. Your profession, by and large, is to listen to people's problems, right? When we
Absolutely.
talking about manifesting, most of the time people coming to me because they sick, or they broke, or their relationship screwed up, or something is just gone awry. So then how in the world do you, as a counselor in your profession, and me as a person who somebody's coming to looking for resolve in their personal, professional, spiritual, physical, or financial, if you've been dealing with that stuff all day long, then how do you get to the house and have an environment or an existence of peace? You do it by choice. I am, and people always talk about, when you gonna take time for yourself, honey. You don't need to worry about Mercedes. She get good time for herself. Do you hear me? You don't have to worry about me and self-care, honey. I sleep good, I eat good, everything I do good or gooder. Do you hear me? But many people, right? Many people, whether it's their profession or whether it's just based on their experience, They don't have the ability to extract themselves from whatever their fight is in order to get to a place of peace. And that is extremely important, because at some point, it's inevitable. At some point, it is going to impact your being.
Absolutely. You know, it's so interesting. I'm listening to you and I'm just thinking of, I know a lot of people who just, as you say, all they do, they just fight for no reason. And they're just so used to fighting. They fight. And I wonder sometimes if the fighting is because they feel they have something to prove. There's insecurity, so I fight, overcompensate. I mean, just it kind of speaks to emotional intelligence or emotional maturity, as far as why are you always fighting instead of just, as you suggested, and we all should know, having a conversation, having dialogue, and trying to get at the root of whatever the issue or issues are, because all of that fighting definitely takes a toll on your mental, spiritual, and physical body. Sit down.
Don't sit down.
Hush your mouth, please. But just something to prove. I got to get a win. I got to be the man, or I got to be the woman. Really?
Mm-hmm.
To whom? For what? Just be.
And sometimes it's all of what you just said, and then sometimes it's just a habit.
That's all
just so used to fighting that they keep fighting. And until you become more mindful, until you become more aware of the impact that your thinking and your communication has on your being and has on everybody who you're connected to, directly or indirectly, then you'll continue to do that. So you're a comedian, right? Look, that's your other greatness. Professions like comedians, professions like, we'll stick with comedians, like comedians. So again, here's an area where I yield to you as the expert. If you make a profession out of stabbing people in their heart, right? Because comedians ain't stabbing you in the back. If you're doing what I call lazy comedy, and you don't, but a lot do. If you're doing what I call lazy comedy, you're not stabbing people in the back. You looking them dead in the eye and you stabbing them in the heart.
Wow.
What am I calling lazy comedy? Lazy comedy is you talking about how people look, right? Lazy comedy is you talking about people's complexion, and you have no clue. I'll give my own testimony. If you look at a picture from me today and you look at a picture from me 2 years ago, you look at a picture from me from high school. When I was a young girl in high school, I was given a diagnosis concerning my skin, right? 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I was given a diagnosis, totally different concerning my skin. So if I can keep certain foods out of my big old mouth, if a man can control his tongue, he can't control his whole body. If I can keep certain foods out of my mouth, hyperpigmentation and melasma might not be that 12-letter word that they said originated in a country that I'm not going to say, but it's akin to what's going on right now in our society.
Right.
However, there are certain things that happen in the atmosphere that impact my skin. So if you doing lazy comedy and you talking about that my makeup on my neckline don't match my neck, hell, when I ain't got no makeup on it, it don't match. That's lazy comedy. If you talking about a sister's edges and how they're gone, that's lazy comedy. If you're talking about, are you with me? So anytime you're taking jabs at people and it is hitting them in their heart or in their gut, you got to pay for that. I don't care if it's all fun. You got to pay for that. I don't care if this is my profession. This is what I get paid to do. Every word you speak, whether it is in jest or whether it is for your profession, you have to pay for it. And so I often am concerned not only about people who fight all day, every day, but also people who are in specific professions. There's a well-known celebrity right now who, in an interview recently, she said she told her mother she wondered if all of her antagonism of other celebrities over the years has caused her to be where she is with the turmoil in her life. Could be not, but the truth is, if you, this the laws of the universe. If you sow it, you have to reap it. And so one of the things that we have got to be clear about, doesn't matter if people are laughing, doesn't matter if people are jumping on the bandwagon, doesn't matter even if we don't like what's going on. If we are engaged in anything that we don't want to live ourselves, conversations that we're sowing into a garden where we don't want to reap a harvest, we have to realize that we've got to find a different way to do things. So then back to your original question and my original answer, which is about renewing the mind or transforming the mind. Everything you think, say, and do, you are either renewing or transforming. If you like it and you want to live it, then keep renewing it. If you don't like it and you don't want to live it, then you've got to transform it.
I love it. I love it. And that is, and just to remind us of that, you're renewing or transforming whatever it is you're thinking, the good and the bad. You're either renewing or transforming. So if it's not what you want right now, you need to renew and transform differently and think on these things. I think we, talked about that. Or you preaching to me. I promise you, you helping me. I don't know about the rest of y'all. Y'all better get yours because I'm getting mine. But and stuff that we know, things that we know, but sometimes we just have to hear it a different way from a different source. And I'm just grateful. I am just grateful that you, as in the church say, thought it not robbery to have these conversations so that we can impact more people. It's one thing to have these one-on-one conversations, but to reach the masses, the Great Commission that God has given all of us is to go ye therefore. We have to go out into the hedges and the highways and the byways. We can do that through the internet, through social media, through whatever, and just getting the word to the people. It's not always scripture verse, but it's based on scripture and verse. And the principles work wherever you put them. Wherever you put them, just work the principles. So we have got to transform and renew and transform, and just make sure we are thinking and saying and manifesting what we want, the right stuff, good stuff, peace, love, and joy. As you often say, peace, love, and joy. So that comes right back, and prosperity and wealth and physical fitness and all. And the six-pack abs. Too much? Okay, let it go. Oh my gosh. But I'm calling some things, more things forth. I thought I had called some things forth before, but honey, I'm going for broke, because I promise you, when I get to heaven, there's gonna be nothing but dust bunnies in my room. I'm not leaving anything in there. Nothing. I don't want to walk in God. Yes, I want it all. I don't want to walk in a room and like, what's that stuff over there? And God say, all the stuff you never asked for. No, I want it to be nothing but dust bunnies in my room. I want all of it. In my New York voice, I want all of it. All of it.
That's almost a t-shirt. I want it all.
Well, one of my girlfriends, for her birthday, I told her, and she just burst out crying. I said, I want you to have it all. And there's a song, I forget the artist who did it, and so I want you to have it all. And I played it for her, and she just boo-hooed. And then I printed out the lyrics so that she could look back on it later. She said, girl, I said, that's what I want for you. When I say I want you to have it all, I mean it unselfishly. You deserve it. And we all do. But I mean, there's some work, there's some stuff that we have to do. It's not just going to fall in our laps. We got to do our part. We got to do our part. And Mercedes L. Miller is helping us do our part by helping us, reminding us to manifest new and to transform. Mercedes, thank you so much. Do you have any closing words or nuggets you'd like to leave us with?
The only thing I'll add is what the script says, and it says renew your mind daily, transform your mind daily. So when you talked earlier about writing, every day you write, every day you think, every day you speak, every day you call it forth. Every day that you want love, peace, and joy is every day you need to be intentional about making sure you cultivate the environment. Transform or renew daily.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. I love it. Mercedes, thank you so much. You are such a
Thank you.
plus. And y'all, every day, think about it. Think on those things. Manifest more.
Manifest more.
Bye bye.